Hey guys, it's Abigail. Thank you so much for coming back to my video and my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification button. Share this with a brother you believe will benefit from it. It's almost the end of the year. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. I have another one for you in the series of what you can learn from blank. Today it is what you can learn from Joe Rogan. Yes, sometimes controversial, sometimes funny. You know, I think he's a martial artist, comedian, podcast host. I remember him when I was a little girl and I used to watch Fear Factor. That's where I remember him. He had hair then. He was a lot more toned. He wasn't like this big dude, burly dude as he is now with a bald head. And just, he didn't look like that. He was like, family friendly Joe Rogan. So honestly, I remember listening to some clips, watching clips of his podcast and him cursing. I was like, ooh, dang, that's not the Joe Rogan I remember as a kid. But anyways, what can you learn from Joe Rogan? I think there's two things. The first thing is know your worth, know your value, and don't be afraid to take your platform or your business or your talents elsewhere if it is not being appreciated. So a few years ago, Joe Rogan, he was really doing well on YouTube, but then there was some controversy going on with him being on YouTube and the platform. He was having a battle between YouTube and his show. And so he decided to leave YouTube and go to Spotify. And Spotify paid him millions and millions of dollars. And currently his podcast is in audio and video form on Spotify. And it's been like that for 2 or 3 years that he's been there. And one of the things I want you to know is he hasn't lost any money. He hasn't lost any following or fans since moving. It can be a big risk to move your main platform to another place because you don't know how you'll be received. You don't know what people will say about you. It can be a big stretch trying to, make sure your fans and the people that love you will go to you. But one thing I want to say is if you have a good tribe, if you have fans that are like loyal followers and supporters, they will basically go almost anywhere you go. And I think he knew that. And Joe Rogan knew the value he brought to the table. He was like, listen, I'm not going to deal with the stuff on YouTube. I'm just going to go to somewhere else and take my talents elsewhere. And the Bible says, don't give your pearls to swine. Know your worth. Know what you bring to the table. Know who you are. Know that you're made in the image of God. You have worth. You have value. There is something for you to do. And because of that, you need to understand that not every environment is going to be able to deal with you. Not every environment is going to be accepting of you, of your plans, of your purpose, of who God has called you to be, of what you bring to the table. And you need to know when it's the right time for you to exit stage left. Literally, take your talents elsewhere. You don't have to waste your time, your talents in a place that doesn't care anything about you. The Bible even said, Jesus was saying to the disciples, if they don't accept you in this town, okay, throw your hands off, wipe the dust off your feet and go somewhere else. You got to understand who you are. You got to understand what you bring to the table and what God has put in you, and your purpose and who he's called you to be is important. And you can't just let it get shattered or be distracted by every Tom, Dick, and Harry and people promising you this, promising you that, or people just not seeing what is inside you. So know when to leave. And that's what Joe Rogan did. He knew his value. He knew his worth. He knew what he brought to the table. He knew he had a loyal fan base and following. So therefore, he made the decision to go to Spotify. And now he's been there and he's doing well. It's like nothing happened. Nothing bad happened to his career by going to Spotify. He didn't lose anything. He probably gained more. He definitely gained more money. The first thing you can learn is basically know your worth, know what you bring to the table, and leave those environments or those atmospheres or people who don't know what God has put in you, who don't see you the way you are supposed to be seen, the way you see yourself. Know when to exit. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you your papers. You can walk at the right timing. You can walk on your own. Another thing you can learn from Joe Rogan is one of the things about his podcast is that he has so many different people on. People that he may agree with, people that he may not agree with. But at the end of the day, it seems like he's willing to talk to almost anybody. And I want to tell you that as you go through life, you're going to meet so many different people. People who look differently than you. People who have different opinions. People who have different political views and who came from different backgrounds. And I don't want you to dismiss them just because they look different from you. I don't want you to dismiss them just because they're from a different educational background or country or culture, or just something about them isn't what you're used to. You got to be uncomfortable sometimes when it comes to meeting people that honestly could change your life and give you a nugget. Not everybody is in your life to be lifelong friends. But some people are in your life seasonally, and some people are just there to plant a seed. If you're going to discriminate or distance yourself from someone because they're different from you, young man, you're not going to grow. You should be able to take in different views, opinions, thoughts, different types of people and what they bring to the table, and learn from that, glean from that. God didn't make us all the same for a reason. He wants us to all take our uniqueness, our differences, and come together. So young man, I'm just telling you that you have to be willing to talk to different types of people. You've got to be willing to even befriend different types of people, show love to different types of people. Don't think that you can't learn something from someone just because they have a different view than you. You definitely can. And so that's the second thing you can learn from Joe Rogan. He's willing to talk to almost anybody and just have a conversation and listen. That's something we need to do these days. We need to just have a conversation and listen. So anyways, those are the things I think you can learn from Joe Rogan. Know your worth and what you bring to the table. Be willing to move on if the people around you don't see what is in you. And number two, be willing and be open to talking to different people and having relationships with different kinds of people. It'll make you an ambassador of the world, heal the world. No, but it will make you a better person and you will grow. Jesus loves you, so do I. Bye.